Hi, friends. What does a lack of time and self-worth have in common? Are you looking to have more time for maybe your personal life, or maybe to pursue your passions, maybe to have better work-life balance? Are you just feeling like you're pulled in a lot of different directions? What if I told you that in order to get more time, all you had to do is start with adjusting your pace in space? If you're interested, stay with me, and I'm going to talk to you and debunk some of the myths that we operate under that keep us in this mindset of not enough time, which impacts our self-worth and the fulfillment we have and how we use our time. All right, let's start with those myths and really feel into these as to how these might be operating in your life. Have you been operating under the myth that in order to have more time so that I can fill in the blank, I have to multitask? Do you operate under the myth that in order to be more effective, I have to rush and move at a fast pace in order to get it all done, because when I get it all done, then I can fill in the blank? Or are you a person that allows yourself to have competing priorities and competing interests and to feel like you're pulled in a million different directions because you feel like, oh, sure, I can be effective at that. I can get it all done and I can manage all these things. And it's okay if I don't really have as much time as I want on these things that are really valuable for me, because I can get this all done and then I'll have time for me or for the things I love, right? That's another myth that we operate under. And the crazy thing about this myth is that we have the illusion that if we speed up, if we multitask, if we allow ourselves to be pulled in a lot of different directions, that we'll be more effective, more productive, more efficient, and that we'll get what we want. But energetically, it just won't happen. We'll be stuck on that hamster wheel forever, perpetually creating more and more of the same. Why is that? Energy follows energy. And what that means is that when we operate in this way, when we fractionate ourselves by allowing ourselves to be moving at a really fast pace or pulled, what we're energetically saying is, I don't have enough time. Think about it. Would you actually move in those ways if you had an abundance of time? Most likely we wouldn't overpack our schedule with a lot of things we don't want. We wouldn't be pulled in so many directions, and we wouldn't have to rush. We would enjoy what we were doing, right? And we would just take as much time as we needed to do those things. So the mindset is coming from a place of lack. And energetically, it's sending a signal of there's not enough time. And because that's the signal that we're operating and energy follows energy, we will continue to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So as soon as you check that thing off your list, another thing will check off. And you'll never have the time for what you want. It will constantly feel like you're chasing that fulfillment. I like to think of it as, instead of having a full serving of your favorite food, you just get little crumbs. Little crumbs, little crumbs. And yes, we can be effective at that. We can build a whole life on that, and we can feel like we are high functioning and that we are really getting it done. But the reality lies in our experience. How's your experience? And if you're not 100% fulfilled, if you're not feeling like you're able to have what it is you really want, whether that's more time with loved ones, more time pursuing your passions, more time taking care of yourself, if you're not able to have that, then the truth is it's not working for you, because you can have those things. You can operate from a different mindset, but it requires you to step off into a new paradigm, one in which you stop operating from lack and you start to value not only yourself, but you value your time. And the amazing thing is, when we do that, we actually get more time and we actually get more fulfillment with where we're spending our time. So, how do we do that? Okay. How we do that is we start to align our pace. We start to realize where we're moving outside of where we can keep our awareness. What happens is when we split our awareness, so when I'm multitasking, I'm giving my focus to a lot of different things, although I think I might have awareness of it, I don't have my complete awareness. And what happens when I don't have my complete awareness is I can't actually, one, enjoy what I'm doing, like I just said, but not only that, is I don't have the capacity to operate at my best. So my decision making's not as good, my ability to pay attention and actually discern what's happening, to really take in the experience, Think about it when you're multitasking and you're having a conversation with someone. Yeah, you might hear what they say, but are you really hearing what they say? Are you hearing the words behind what they say? Most likely not. You're just getting surface level. And so it's like operating with hand math when you can actually use a calculator. You're just not going to operate at your best. You're not going to discern at your best. You're not going to integrate at your best. You won't have access to your creativity because, again, you've taken all of your energy, all of your intelligence, and you've fractionated it and you've given part here, part there. And so we're partially effective. So again, to the degree that you want to operate at a level that you feel really proud of and that you really feel like you're evolving and you're giving your 100% and you're enjoying it, that's really the meter of how much it's working for you. The second thing that you have to do is when you start to align your pace is really pay attention to your intention of how you want to move. It's really coming into terms with how do you want to feel as you move throughout your day? What is the energy you want to carry? When people experience you, what's the energy that you want to give off? Is it one that I'm getting 5% of your time, 10% of your time? Or is it energy of, wow, this person's really present. This person is powerful. Because that's how it feels when we really embody our fullness, is that we actually feel more valuable ourselves because we're giving our attention to the one thing and we're giving it our best. So again, it's how we want to show up. And when we start to decide how we want to show up and we do that, then our energy kind of follows. So we start to align with our intention. We start to decide how we want to move and we start to align that pace, which means that we stop multitasking, right? At times we might have to do a small amount of it, but we catch ourselves when we're just doing it to perpetually get the stuff done. We slow down how we move. And I know what comes up is all these fears come up around, oh, if I slow down or I don't multitask, I won't get it all done. But again, these are all rooted in fear of not being enough, fear of not getting it all done, fear of there not being enough time, fear of not being good enough, really, at what you're doing. And if the more we feed the fears, the stronger they get, and they become, again, those self-fulfilling prophecies. So when we start to move at that pace we want to, so we slow down, we take our time, we breathe, our body starts to get out of the stress mode. As high-functioning people that operate at busy lives, right? A lot of us have busy lives. We can start to adapt to the stress, but it doesn't mean our body's not taking the toll of the stress. So even though when you start to move at a speedy pace, you might say, I'm fine with it, I've adapted. But the problem is that your nervous system may not be adapting. Your body might be pumped full of cortisol more often than not, which leads to all types of gut health, immunity deficiencies, poor sleep, weight gain, not only chronic stress, it starts to take a toll on our body. And then once again, our mental functioning is diminished, our emotional functionality and our emotional well-being is diminished, and our quality of life diminishes. And this takes a toll on our self-worth. Because if we're having to operate at a level that's sub-satisfactory to what we desire, we're basically saying, I don't value myself. I am not allowed to value what it is that I do value, which is my health, my wellness, and my needs. And so by rushing around, by multitasking and moving at these paces, allowing ourselves to be fractionated, the indirect responses or the indirect consequences that we're not valuing ourselves. And you deserve to be valued, friend. We all deserve to be valued. And so once we kind of take back our power, our energy, our awareness, and we decide where it goes consciously, magical things start to happen. And I don't mean that in rainbow and butterflies. What I mean is that synchronicity can happen because your higher intelligence gets a chance to work. And so things like meetings get rescheduled, things happen, people call and offer to do things, work gets removed because someone else has taken it, or the work becomes redundant, or a creative way makes its way through. All kinds of things start to show up because we start to move at a pace that says, I have enough time, I'm valuable, and the environment will always echo those beliefs one way or the another. Either we're asking the environment to echo the lack, or we're asking the environment to occupy the opposite of that belief, which is I'm very valuable and I have plenty of time, and the universe will then yield to you more time, more resources. And we feel more fulfilled at the end of the day. That's really the proof in the pudding, is that when we start by valuing ourselves and valuing how we embody the spaces that we're in, we automatically feel better. So this is not a thing that you have to wait for. You automatically start feeling better. You feel better as you're moving to the space. You start to be in the space and you have more awareness, more capacity. You enjoy the spaces that you're in more. And if you don't, then it becomes a lot easier to filter them out later. Because that's another kind of genius tool, is being able to filter out things that aren't valuable for us so that we make space and room for that which is. But the first step is to start with the end in mind, which is, how do I want to feel? How do I want to move through my day? And start with that and move from that place. It's so essential that we stop operating from limited thinking about time, because time is one of our greatest resources. And in order to get more of it, we have to realize that it begins and ends with us and how we choose to live our lives, how we choose as creator to embody the spaces we're in. And your pace and your space are no different. So my invitation to you is, give yourself 100% permission to move at a pace that allows you to occupy the space in the ways in which make you feel the most fulfilled, the most valued, and the most abundant. Act as if. Let me know how this works for you.